Hi everyone, this is part one of a two-part video tutorial that covers RightBooth's social media features. Now in this video I'm going to explain how you configure the social media settings to allow you to create events, and that will let your users then send videos and photos to email addresses or directly to mobile phones as a text message. Now I've also created quite a few articles covering this topic on the RightBooth website. Let me just show you where they are. So you go to rightbooth.com. In the help section, go down to the how-to page and scroll down to social media and user data. And here there are lots of links to articles that I've written about this topic. And don't forget, there's also the RightBooth manual, which covers all this in a lot of detail. So there's plenty of places to get information from. Okay, so we're going to look at RightBooth settings. Now, before I do that, the first thing to say is that if you want to use social media features in RightBooth, then it requires you to have an email account. Now, there are plenty of companies offering free email services such as Microsoft's Outlook, Yahoo Mail, or Google Gmail. So make sure you have signed up for an email account and that you have your account details ready to enter into RightBooth. So let's take a look. Go into Settings. And you want to go to the social media tab. So now we're looking at the email server section of social media, and here you need to enter the details of your email account. Now these details will be available from your email service provider, so make sure you look at their documentation or contact them and ask them for the information. Now here you can see I'm using Gmail, and I've got the address rightbooth@gmail.com. So you can also use this test button here to make sure that you've entered the correct information here. And obviously your computer needs to be connected to the internet, otherwise nothing's going to work. Now once you've got this set up, RightBooth will use this email account for all the social media features that you offer in all your events. So this is a one-time setup here. Okay, if you also want to allow users to send files to phones, you have more configuration work to do. So click on the phone SMS tab, and in here you need to enter a list of mobile service provider details. Now these comprise of a provider name, the number of digits that are required for that provider, so the number of phone digits, and an SMS gateway email. And as you can see, I've entered quite a few here. These are popular ones in the United States. I'll just enter a couple more so you can see what you do. I've got my list here. So we have Verizon. Just click in here, start typing, tab 10, and then here we have this. I'll just paste it in with a Control V. And the last one I've got on this list is Virgin Mobile. Start typing. Again, it's 10 digits, and it's at vmpics.com. Now, what does all this mean? Well, basically, many mobile service providers offer a feature that lets you send an email to their gateway address, and the provider will then automatically forward that email as a text message to the phone number that is prefixed in the email address. So as an example, let's say your mobile phone is being used on the AT&T network. You could then send an email to your number at mms.at.net, and your phone would then receive the email as a text message. It's a really neat feature, and it's a free service from lots of the providers. So the idea in RightBooth is to offer your users a list of network service providers after they have recorded a video or taken a photo. The user will then pick their provider from the list, and they will enter their mobile phone number, and RightBooth will then email the files to the provider's gateway address. The user will then receive their files as a text message on their phone. So the question is, where do you get these gateway addresses from? Well, that's a good question, and not all the providers offer this feature, but many do. And it's certainly common in the USA and Canada, and possibly in other countries too. Now, I've included a list of common providers and their gateways on the RightBooth website, which I mentioned earlier. So have a dig around. There's lots of info on the internet, and you can also contact specific providers and ask the question. Now, once again, RightBooth will use this list for all the center phone features that you offer in all your events. And again, this is a one-time setup. And don't forget, for this feature to work, you must also have configured your email account details here. Okay, the final thing you need to consider for social media is the file size of the videos and photos that will be sent. Now, RightBooth is going to be sending files as email attachments, and there is a limit to how big they can be. Now, at the time of recording this video, Gmail attachments must be less than 25 megabytes, and many other providers have lower limits, possibly 10 megabytes. So especially when you are considering sending videos, you need to make sure they are not huge files, otherwise they won't get sent. So how do we ensure that we get small files that are sent? So go to the Media Size tab, and here you can instruct RightBooth to reduce the size of the files that will be attached to the emails. Now here you can see for photos I've set them to be converted to JPEGs and to reduce them to be no bigger than 800 by 600. So let's say you're taking photos with a DSLR camera and they're very large photos. What RightBooth will do is it will reduce the photos down to around 800 by 600 before they get sent as email attachments. Similarly with videos will automatically be converted to the MP4 format before they are emailed or sent to phone. And also you can choose to resize them down. So again, RightBooth creates quite large videos. You can create HD videos, for instance, but by resizing them down here to 400 by 300, you can reduce the file size quite a lot. There's also conversion settings here which help to reduce it further, so you can reduce the quality and you can change the frame rate of the recorded video as well. Now all of these things help to reduce the size of the video file that will be attached to the emails. Now as an example, a typical 1-minute video captured by RightBooth could end up being 40 megabytes, which is far too big to be sent. But by using these defaults, the video file size would be reduced down to about 3 megabytes, which is easily allowing for it to be sent as an attachment. Now, one point to mention here is that these reduced files do not affect or replace the original photos and video recordings made by RightBooth. So these are just additional files that are created at the time any social media sharing is required during the event. Right, so that's all the RightBooth settings to consider. Now in the second video I'll explain how you can offer social media features in your RightBooth events.